is up, my pizzas? Cory Vincent here, and it is E3 week, and we are so excited to dig deep into what we saw at E3 for the Microsoft and Bethesda conferences. Joining me on the show, she is a world premiere, Emmaskies.
And she has no audio difficulties whatsoever. I do everything perfect the first time.
You know what? That's what I've always admired about you. You always just get things right on the first try, even when it's in a field you're not necessarily an expert in.
It's very true. I never hold up anybody in anything. I am picture perfect.
And he is gonna be available day one on Xbox Live Games Pass. Curtis Fisher, what is up?
I don't even know how to follow. I'm very expensive, so save all your pennies. The Game Pass really covers so much of a discount for the Curtis.
That's what's great about Curtis. He's free if you have Xbox Games Pass.
That's not what free means.
What is up, everybody? So we had a lot to cover. Let's thank the sponsors real quick. Oblivion Comics and Coffee, Sacramento's #1 spot for comics and coffee. Vast GG, Energy Esports, and good, we're covered. So let's just dig down into it. I think what the best form that we're going to do is we're going to take you chronologically. We'll start with the big one. We'll start with Microsoft. Emma has been very studious. She has the notes all ready to go. So where are we starting?
So the conference started with a brand new trailer for The Outer Worlds. Yeah. Opened the show.
That is huge. You don't just give it to any small game that isn't going to be successful, to open your show.
I was impressed. I was very impressed.
A listener of the show actually works for the development company, and he kind of debated you.
He did. You know what, Dan, if you listen to this, you lied to my face, and it hurt me. You lied right to my face. Oh, we're not going to be at E3. Oh my God, I'll never get over it.
He's in the marketing side too, so that's like his expertise is misdirection and giving you the information you need when you need it. And so sure enough, we open up on The Outer Worlds. Obvious what it was based off of the initial little scenics they gave us. They gave us a lot more context to the story. A lot of this kind of stuff is out there. Last time they showed the game, there is some footage flying around, but obviously we're much closer to release. Which we
have a date for now.
Yeah, what was the date?
October 25th.
Let's go.
That's way sooner than I expected. I honestly didn't expect to see this game until next year.
Yeah. So I guess kind of just to give you guys a heads up too, there's conferences in the past seem to be really wordy. Like they bring people out on stage and they talk a whole bunch about the features. Many of the games we talk about are going to be as we experience them, which were just trailers. They would just say world premiere, show you a trailer and then move on. World premiere, another trailer, and then they move on. So Outer Worlds, it looks like the plot, it's you are frozen, you kind of come back and the world is different. And it's all it's basically where we're headed now. The world has been just completely colonized by businesses.
All bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Every inch of everything that you see is bought and paid for by some corporation.
And there was actually real brands in there, which I thought was pretty awesome too. Like Bumblebee Tuna was
You know what? It's a little unrealistic though, because in our world it would all be Disney.
Yeah, no, 100%.
If we would not have dozens of these conglomerates that are all, it would be two.
Yeah, and it looks very Fallout to the core, like Fallout New Vegas, even to the facial expressions, kind of the dead eye animations were still there. They showed some of the menu. I believe you get to see some dialogue menu options pop up through there.
Yeah, which we've seen before.
Yeah. Like I said, not too much more to say from my end on this one because it's already a day.
You're not allowed to talk about it.
Well, it's a day one buy. They said it's available on the. Well, actually, I won't have to because we'll get there.
You won't have to.
Yeah, it's going to be day one on the Xbox Games Pass too, so that's a big deal.
If anything made me want, or not want, but if there was one thing that made me so sure that Game Pass was the right choice, it was this E3 conference.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't have Game Pass, or if I didn't already have it, this conference would make me get it.
That's where I'm at. I don't have it currently and had no plans on getting it until today's conference.
Yeah.
Curtis, what do you think about the Games Pass? Do you have an Xbox yet?
See, I don't have an Xbox. When I won that thing, I had an opportunity to get an Xbox. Thanks again, Kingsguard. But I had an opportunity to get an Xbox, but I swapped for a PS4 because that's what everybody else has. So for me, this is a whole lot of...
Well, no, he got it because we were all playing PS4 at the time. Can call him a traitor.
Right. If you would get NBA 2K, which is only $3, which is basically free by Google standards, then maybe we could have been playing together. I'm window shopping on all of this stuff, so for me, it's an outsider looking in, and the game it looks like a fantastic game. The Xbox Game Pass seems like it's almost like it's free.
Yeah.
That's not what that means. That's not what free means, people. This is the hill I will die on.
Yeah, we know. We know. Yeah, Outer World's going to be a fantastic game. I'm hoping we can get Dan on the show pretty soon once there's maybe after the E3 craze has died down, just so we could kind of get that recap, because I'm sure that booth or wherever they're at in the Microsoft area is going to be blown up. I can't wait for that game.
So we moved on from the Outer Worlds to the new Ninja Theory game, Bleeding Edge. So Bleeding Edge kind of got... The game itself didn't get leaked, but the name Bleeding Edge was leaked a while ago. We knew that Ninja Theory was working on a new game. And when I think Ninja Theory, I know Heavenly Sword, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Devil May Cry. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, a new game from these guys. Bleeding Edge is not what I thought it was going to be.
This was...
Not even fucking close.
It was wild. It's...
There is not a single universe in which I would have expected this game from them.
Is that a bad thing for you or a good thing?
For me, it's a bad thing. This doesn't look like a game that I care about at all. So the game, we're kind of talking about it. So Bleeding Edge is a third-person action combat competitive team multiplayer thing that looks like Overwatch on acid.
Yes,
almost.
That's accurate. It looks like Overwatch blended with Borderlands almost, that type of wacky character.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was looking at it. I was like, this looks very Borderlands-esque. I would almost say Overwatch on Joker toxins.
Yeah, it's like Overwatch in not even necessarily in the aesthetic, but in the gameplay, the competitive multiplayer, the thing like that. This one is 4v4, so it's not 6v6. And then Borderlands weirdness, this bright, almost cartoony but over the top, violent aesthetic.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything for me. When I literally just played Hellblade a month or two ago, and that is kind of what I want from Ninja Theory. That kind of storytelling is what I want. And I was like, this is, I guess.
This seems more like if you like Fortnite and you like Overwatch and you like Borderlands, this game's for you.
It's trendy.
Yeah, it definitely
Very
is
trendy.
of the times. I think this is going to be one of those games that could have probably benefited a lot more from spending. They could have spent $0 on the stage show and pulled the Apex route. And when this game comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if you see all the big streamers on it, because that's the audience they want.
Yeah.
Did they say whether this was free to play or its availability?
So the tech alpha for it starts June 27th.
Okay.
So there will be some sort of open, trial testing period. I don't believe it's going to be free to play. I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
But this is just, for me, this one was a bummer. I was very excited for a new Ninja Theory game because I absolutely love Heavenly Sword and Hellblade. Those games, and they stand the test of time. I will go back and play those games years later. Nobody's going to go back and play Bleeding Edge in 5 to 10 years.
I don't know. I don't know. They might still be playing it. They may never stop. Who knows? This game could be the one. Listen, with the Fortnite, what we have gone through with Fortnite and how I saw that game at a conference super early on, maybe my first TwitchCon. And I remember thinking, oh, that's kind of cute. It's like PUBG, but with, accessible looking. I had no idea it was going to become this phenomena. This game here could carve some crazy niche audience. It's not a battle royale. It's just a battle arena game. So it seems like one of those games.
4v4.
Yeah, if the mechanics are good and everything looks smooth, everything's as smooth that it looked in the trailer, and you can just pick this game up for 10, 15 minutes a day and grind a little bit, it could be really fun.
Well, and Fortnite is the same kind of thing. I don't think it's going to be the game that stands the test of time. When Fortnite's time is over, when the sun has set on Fortnite, nobody's going to go back to it 5 years later and play it, because nobody's going to be fucking on it and there's not going to be support for it. That's why I don't love the
I think
online multiplayer games like that, because they just don't stand the test of time for me.
I think in general. I think with Fortnite you could not be further from the truth, because look at Minecraft, and they still have conventions for it, and Fortnite is
but
bigger.
Minecraft you can play by yourself offline.
But here, Fortnite is bigger than right now than Minecraft ever was, with a larger player base than Minecraft ever had, and that's a whole generation. Like, it's not for us, it's not our generation, but the generation that has it now is gonna love and know and talk about Minecraft for the rest of the time. Unfortunately,
right? But with a game like Minecraft, like there is an offline play, like And whenever Minecraft is no longer big, I can still put it in, load it up, and play the game. With an online game, you can't do that. Once it's offline, it's offline.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Once them servers go down, that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all that to say, this one was a bummer for me.
Looks interesting. I wasn't expecting it. So when I saw it, I was like, this is one I might actually play. If the price is right, jump in with the right crowd. It could do well, but.
Is it gonna take over Overwatch, Cory?
Nah, not enough depth. Not enough depth yet, from what I see. And
it'll be a Game Pass day one, so
yeah,
there's your prices right.
Yeah.
So following that, I got one of the absolute highlights of my entire life.
What was this?
We got a new trailer for Ori and the Will of the Wisps and a release date.
Here we go. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. If you have not played Ori and the Blind Forest, you got to do yourself a favor and play that game. It is legitimately one of the most beautiful games that I've ever played, and one of the greatest platformer puzzlers with an actual phenomenal story behind it. But all that to say, we got a new trailer for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I'm incredibly excited. It comes out February 11th, 2020, which is later than I wanted. I wanted it this year, but I'll take it.
Yeah, this one has had fanfare, and people have been wanting this one a lot, and it's just a beautiful looking game. It's
so pretty
platformer, and then they really doubled down, I think, on the aesthetic, because it just looks so clean and crisp.
Yeah, and they kept, because we saw some more gameplay in this one. We saw a lot of the enemies in this one, which is super exciting. They have a lot of really big enemies in this one, which I actually think is really great. They kept the aesthetic of the surroundings and the aesthetic of Ori and the way that he moves and all of that, and they added in more intense combat, which I'm very excited for. I'm excited.
Yeah, looks like a good one.
Curtis, were you moved by this trailer at all?
I am, and for some of the reasons that you said, but specifically visually, me being a window shopper person, it's standard in video games these days to have everything 60 frames per second. I'll be honest with you, not every game looks so good visually that I think it really needs 60 frames per second. Most would be just fine in 30, I feel like. But this game is so beautiful. The way that it's put together, the contrast and the light and the dark and the colors and stuff like that, 60 frames per second on this game, I could see how you could just plug in and just tune out the rest of the world and fall into it.
And what you would love about this is the music. The music for Ori and the Blind Forest, one of the greatest video game soundtracks I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, really?
It gets a lot of praise. I know people
it's phenomenal.
Who have it on wax. They released an album, a vinyl version of it, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
So good. So that was a huge highlight for me of the day. So we moved from Ori on to a new Minecraft game, apparently. Minecraft has made a dungeon crawler.
Yep, a little... it looked okay. Here's what I was expecting, the bummer about it. It seems like it's Minecraft, but mixed with Gauntlet Legends or something. It's got that high up angle, multiplayer, different classes of wizards and swords and things like that, and... I was really hoping that the kicker, when the trailer does that one thing that makes you go, oh, snap. I thought it was going to go first person mode. I would have been way more excited about this game if you can toggle between the top down dungeon crawler and then gone into a first person type of field of it. I don't know, make it feel like I've done a lot of PvP back on Minecraft days for me. And, it was always just a forced PvP game, because it wasn't meant to be that. And so, it just felt loose and stuff. I was thinking they were going to tighten it up and kind of making it an actual, first-person shooter type experience thing. But overall,
well, that's not what they're going for with the dungeon crawler.
Yeah, no, totally. I thought it was just that extra feature for me that would have made me interested a little bit. At this point, I have no interest in this game.
Yeah, me neither. I know some people are excited for it though. for some reason. So Minecraft Dungeons launches spring 2020. It is 4-player online co-op and 4-player local co-op.
Good for them.
You got some couch co-op on this one.
Good for them. I think that I saw another game that we're going to talk about later that also had couch co-op, which was fun. Yeah, it's coming back.
It is. I'm glad. So Jedi Fallen Order followed that. We talked about that on the show yesterday. Most of what you needed to see was in the EA briefing.
Yeah, they're just a little more like a different part of the story. Like a little earlier on.
So that one launches November 15th. We moved from Jedi Fallen Order into a really weird, like, horror, mystery, kind of scary, deep in the woods kind of game. And I'm watching it, and I'm going, what is, like, I'm trying to think, is this a new IP? Is this something that I've seen before? Is this, at first I thought it was another Outlast game, because they've got the camera going. And I was like, okay, Outlast 3, I hadn't heard about that, but all right. And then there's a section toward the end where you look at somebody that's staring at a wall, and I'm like, is this what I think it is? It's a Blair Witch game.
You picked up on it before me then. I didn't get it until the camera panned up and you saw the Blair Witch.
You saw the symbol?
Yeah, then when I knew what it was.
This could be good. I would like to see actual gameplay, but the cinematic they showed was perfectly creepy, perfectly it looked like I want a Blair Witch game to feel.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a little, like, they're playing with the timeline a little bit. Like, they kept showing the same part again multiple times, and then you see it through the lens of, like, a camera or, like, a video camera, and it seemed like that was going to be one of the mechanics of the game. Which makes sense, because Blair Witch was a mockumentary. Exactly. So, I don't know. I don't like scary games, so this one wasn't for me.
Curtis, have you did you see Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, I saw the OG one. I didn't see the remake.
It's not. You don't need to.
Okay. Yeah, the found footage type feel of the original. I mean, I remember I was so scared. Like, I didn't even want to go into the garage to do laundry because I thought I was going to turn around and there's going to be someone, like, just waiting there looking at me. This will definitely, I mean, obviously it will be a game that I won't play. I don't have interest in playing, but I will watch. You know, like, I'll go online and I'll watch people, like, play for, like, 10 minutes. Yeah. That'll probably be it. But yeah, visually, it looks stunning, and it does capture the vibe and the feel of the original with you know, obviously just it's a little more frenetic to kind of punch it up for the video game experience. So I say kudos. I got a feeling that it looks like it could be in the talk or in the realm of the Silent Hill and stuff like that. It can enter that arena. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice during the conference, and I don't know if I just missed, like, their logo or something, but this is actually a Bloober game, and Bloober did Layers of Fear, which I loved. They just released Layers of Fear, I think last week, Layers of Fear 2 last week, and they did Observer, which I did not super love. But Layers of Fear kind of shows that they can make a horror game and they can make it scary. Oh, okay, so knowing that they're working on this is kind of a good one for me.
Dope.
What my entire Twitter line is today is coming up. The next thing we followed up with was a new Cyberpunk trailer.
Yeah, boy.
And we got was a cinematic, which I'm not too mad about. I would have loved some gameplay, but we did have that, like, 45-minute gameplay video a few months ago. So, like, I'm kind of set. So we got a new cinematic of a new character, and kind of, like, you get a feel for the world that Cyberpunk exists in. And, you know, it's a whole thing. I recommend watching it. But right at the very end, somebody walks into screen and leans down. Keanu motherfucking Reeves.
It's a Matrix crossover. Neo's in it.
It is. We are in the Keanu Reeves renaissance, and I am so happy about it.
Yeah.
People lost their goddamn minds.
He's tapped into that thing.
Go ahead, Curtis. He's definitely tapped in right now. He's like taking over what The Rock, you know, like had kind of been carrying for a little while. And I'm all about it. He's a salt of the earth type person, cool human, super laid back, totally down to kind of play into the whole phenomena of who he is. To add him into the game, the game already looked amazing. Like you said, Emma, we saw, you know, that little 45 minutes of gameplay thing. So I'm sold all the way around on Cyberpunk, and I guess and again, Emma was right. It's not coming out at least till next year. Did they give the official date?
They did. It's actually way earlier than I expected. It's releasing April 16th, 2020. I didn't expect to see it till Q4 2020.
Yeah, I think you were saying the end of the year, right?
Yeah. So the trailer closes out with Keanu Reeves, and then it cuts back to the stage, and the stage opens up, and you see the silhouette of a man, and you're like, is it? And he walks out, and it's Keanu Reeves on stage at E3. I don't know how much money CD Projekt Red has, but it's a lot.
Oh, and there it is right there. There's the budget.
There's the budget.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Keanu Reeves actually has like a sizable chunk of a portion in the game. Like he actually plays somebody that you go to again and again and again, and it's not just like some little cameo that they paid for at the last minute and kind of threw in the game just so they could. I'm kind of hoping.
Games do that,
we'll
though.
See.
Games they do tend to like do that. I remember a game called True Crime put like Snoop Dogg in it or something, and that was like one of their selling points. But they kind of stole the show with the whole Keanu reveal because it was already such a sick video, and then that was just like literally icing on the cake, and they couldn't have done it at a better time. John Wick 3 is out right now. He's also in Fortnite right now to bring that one back up. Like he's
in Always Be My Maybe, which just released on Netflix, and apparently he like steals the show in that movie.
Does he
that
really?
was not a movie I would ever watch, and now I'm like, shit, I'll go watch that.
Well, Bill and Ted is about to get remade.
Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, so we are in the age of Keanu. 2019
I'm excited.
/2020 is going to be all him.
Rufus.
I thought I didn't really pick up any new information besides just reinforcing. Oh yeah, I'm buying this game later.
Yeah. I think their whole stage presence was just to announce a date.
Yeah.
Which and for Keanu Reeves to tell somebody in the audience that they're breathtaking, and that is the greatest person that will ever happen, or the greatest thing that will ever happen in that person's life.
Yeah.
So congrats to that
Probably.
person.
Yeah, probably.
So after how do you follow that? What do you even do? An indie-looking game. I didn't catch who made it, but a game that looks very, the style, the aesthetic of indies. Spiritfarer followed that, which looks...
Oh my gosh.
Is that bad? You're not into this?
No, not at all.
No?
No.
I mean, I get it. It's not your kind of game.
No. It looked boring. This is the one...
This is a game I'll probably pick up.
It looked like... What's the one? It's like an adventure game. Right? You're on a boat and stuff. You can kind of decide what the boat looks like and go on little adventures. I mean, I don't know. Definitely not something I'd be interested in. What appeals to you?
I love the aesthetic. I love how it looks like they're doing storytelling with this game. I'm really excited about. I love the deer. I'll hang out with that deer. Although it looks like the deer dies and I'm upset about it. It looks like a very like cute game. I like games that I like that aesthetic. I like playing with narrative storytelling in that way. The customizing and building the boat I'm not big on, so I'm curious to see like what that actually looks like in gameplay. But this could be a game that I pick up.
Did they? Is this a? I mean, I don't know if it's like a huge marvel and that people are holding their breath for it to come out. But did they say whether this was this year or next year?
I didn't catch it, so I don't think it said. I like the implication there being that if I didn't hear it, it didn't happen.
I think that's accurate. So this one came, it was a pretty tough act to follow with Cyberpunk. Maybe that's why it kind of really didn't stand out to me, but what else do we get?
Well, then you get what really follows Cyberpunk, what everybody wanted. Battletoads.
Oh, no.
Who asked for this remake?
No, a lot of people. And it was a meme. Like, I worked at GameStop, and it was just a meme. People would always call GameStops and ask...
You shouldn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars making a meme.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it pays off. And it's a Rare game. Rare's kind of, popular again with, Sea of Thieves, and it's probably one of the most... popular licenses they haven't done anything with. The game's kind of iconic with its the jet ski level, or it's not a jet ski, but you know what I'm talking about, like the little that's iconic. It's one of the most difficult things to play and everyone knows it and loves it. This is not the way to do it though. They Sonicked him.
Do you think that we'll get a Toads DLC in Sea of Thieves? Will there be toads in the water now?
Oh, no. I wouldn't put it past them. But the worst part of it was just the character models. They didn't look like the Battletoads.
They don't. It looks very different. Which is like, I mean, the game's 1,000,000 years old, so.
Yeah, but there's a right way. Like, that's why I said it.
Yes.
It gave me the Sonic vibes. Like when
I was just about to say, it's the difference between remastering Spyro and remastering Sonic.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
If they could have just made them be themselves, their same proportion, but they put this new art style completely on them that just kind of, takes all the nostalgia factor out of it for me. Curtis, you're a beat 'em up guy back in the day. What did you think of the update?
I was never big on Battletoads. Like the Battletoads game that I played the most was Battletoads and Ninja Turtles. Like when they mashed them up.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
did they?
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta go look that.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. How did I miss that? I took it as because I remember they did Double Dragons, but I'm gonna look that shit up right now.
Double Dragon.
Yeah.
There was a few little mashups back then, but I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the Battletoads, but kind of similar. Like you can make it look closer to the original, and then have the gameplay be a little similar, and then spice it up a little bit with some of the nice updates we've got in the gaming world since then. But I think they might have just thrown all their money in a fire pit with this one.
Yeah, I don't see this one like changing the game at all.
Yeah, this frog ain't gonna be no prince.
But what if I tell you that there's couch co-op?
Now you have my attention. That's the only way this game would be fun.
It changes things a little bit.
Yeah, it does change a little bit. Like I wouldn't buy this game to hey, let's all buy Battletoads so that we could land and play it, or play it online. No, if one person falls on the sword so that everyone could come over, drink a few beers, and beat Battletoads.
Well, it's going to be a Battletoad game. It's going to be a Game Pass game.
Oh, there you go. So you don't really lose anything. It's free.
Yeah, I hate you. After that, we got The Legend of Wright, which I don't understand and doesn't look like a game I'll play.
Which one was this?
That was the one that was like in the Notebook.
Oh, totally overwhelmed me. This is for the kids, the new generation. I was lost.
Like, this is for somebody who's not me.
Yeah. No, totally.
Doesn't look like my kind of story. Doesn't look like my kind of gameplay. But somebody will like it.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Someone.
So that'll come out in 2020 at some point. And then we got one of my other favorite parts of the Xbox briefing, which is the ID at Xbox. I always enjoy that.
Yeah.
ID at Xbox is the indie section. So Xbox has this ID at Xbox program where they help a bunch of indie developers make and publish their games, which I really, really love. And I didn't catch all the names, and there was only one that I really recognized, and which I'm actually waiting for and have been waiting for quite some time. And I believe it's called After Party. It's the one where you get in like a drinking contest with the devil or something.
What?
And you're like bar hopping, like you die. I'm pretty sure you die, and then you're in hell, and you're like bar hopping, and you're in a drinking contest. I think to like live again. I'm not entirely certain, but it looks really fun.
Yeah,
and I like the aesthetic, and I like the music.
Yeah, it looked. It had the '80s look, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of. Well, sort of.
Kind of synthwave looking. I thought. Yeah. Yeah, no, that game looked good. The one that really stuck out in my mind for as being just like, why is this even here? Was the one with the deer.
The deer. Weight of the World?
Is that the one with the deer and the little baby deer and the antlers?
Yes!
Look like?
Oh my god, I'm gonna get that. It looks so good.
Oh,
that game, but again, like it's not your kind of game. You don't like games like that.
It's not anybody's kind of game. It doesn't look like a game.
It's my kind of game.
It doesn't look like a game at all. So I was watching the whole conference with Elizabeth, who usually, keeps kind of quiet, dozes off. She's like not really watching it. She happened to be awake during that part. And, I'm just completely silent watching it. We were both just quiet. And then after the trailer and people are clapping, she goes, that game just doesn't look fun. I was like, yeah, exactly.
And that's fine. Like, it's not a game that's for everybody. Not everybody likes that kind of game. I love that. I love that shit. It's beautiful. It's aesthetically wonderful. It looks like it has a really good story as far as like the exploration behind it and the way that you're finding things and the way you're interacting with your baby deer. It looks like a game I'll love. It really does.
I'll believe you, and I can, like, when you're talking about Ori, even though I haven't played that, I could see the appeal, at least from the trailer, on how it looks like a game. This looks like it didn't even look that good. Like that was the thing. They went the art direction, but it just looked like
I love the aesthetic of it.
Like when he was hitting that glass to make it break and how the water left it, it just seemed like, I don't know, low quality.
No, it's a very specific kind of aesthetic. Like, it's supposed to look like that.
It's kind of,
and again, like, I get, like, this isn't a game for everybody. Like, if you're into, like, if your part of gaming is you love combat and you love high action, you like high fidelity, like fast paced, stuff like that, like, this isn't going to be your kind of game.
Yeah.
And I like that, but I like these too. I really, really like games like this. This is like you would hate Beyond Eyes, and you wouldn't like, what are some of these other kind of games? Like, Tacoma's probably one like that. That just like, I live for this shit.
Okay.
Visually, it kind of reminded me of Breath of the Wild a little bit. I was gonna say it even kind of reminded me like it would be a Switch game. Which I mean, I guess I was about to say I guess to some people that would be a bad thing, but that's few people because the Switch sold like hotcakes. Yeah. So I mean, I kind of get the appeal, and as we all know, Emma is an aminal person, so I could see the appeal to it.
I'm very excited. It looks beautiful. That's cool. What I found was that as just like an cursory look over Twitter, is that the people who aren't super into high combat shooters love this and like love this kind of game and are excited. Like, there's a lot of people that are very excited for this. So
it's good to have options out there.
Yeah, so Way to the Woods is going to come out in 2020. That will be an immediate buy for me. I love it. I love it.
I think Totally Accurate Battle Simulator looked interesting too. That one looked like about the same graphic quality of Way to the Woods. Yeah. But it just seemed like a wild, like, open fighting thing from, like, they had like Vikings and just tackling each other and crazy explosions and like one of those.
Right, so like if that kind of game is what appeals to you, like maybe Way to the Woods isn't for you.
For sure. Yeah. I guess that's a way to break it down. I think one thing too is just Twitter was being super negative. Like
I wasn't on it at all.
I went to Twitter just to kind of see what people were talking about, obviously, and there's a lot of Keanu stuff and like other little tiny parts, but overall, people were just, I don't know, kind of downers about this whole thing. And
that's nothing new though. Like, people love to shit on Xbox all the time, like especially during E3.
It's like PlayStation's not even here. People are still shitting on them. So I don't know.
So after the ID at Xbox section, also the Totally Awesome Battle Simulator. So the Totally Awesome is like apparently like a series of like, there's other Totally Accurate. Sorry, not Totally Awesome. Totally Accurate. Like, there's other games in that series.
Oh, okay.
Of like totally accurate stuff. So Tabs is something that people have been waiting for. So after ID at Xbox, they announced the new Game Pass.
Yeah.
So now they have Game Pass for PC. So same concept, except on your computer instead of your Xbox, which I imagine like PC gamers will probably be happy for this.
Well, first of all, PC gamers are never happy. That's why.
That's true.
That's why we are PC gamers. But second, like, I think it does capture a big audience of people in between, like myself, who have been. I love console games. I basically will play a game whatever my friends are on. I prefer to play on PC. And this, I was skeptical because they started talking about Games Pass, how successful it's been, and that they're bringing it to the PC. And my immediate thought was, oh, this is going to be like $20, $25, and there's no way, they're going to be able to find a price point, because now they're expecting me to have it for console and the PC. Like, what the hell, Xbox? I was getting a little frustrated. I thought, this better be just included. And then they dropped the price point of only $14.99, and I'm in. Like, I think it's
so that's for Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, did they say what was the? So it's $9.99 if you just want the PC.
Game Pass for PC is the same price as Game Pass for Xbox. It's $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
Or you can get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Game Pass for PC, all for $14.99 a month.
Yeah.
Which is a great price point, because Gold, if you pay a year at a time, which is probably the most popular way to do it, is $5 a month. Game Pass is $10 a month, so you're already at $15, and then you get Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. You don't get it for free. You get them all slightly discounted.
The biggest questions I had that I really want answered, and I'm sure will come out in articles and stuff in the coming weeks, is how that affects crossplay.
Yes.
So, like Gears 5, for example, when that comes out, it's probably going to be available on PC and Xbox. So, does my information carry over from one to the other? Like, if I'm on the PC, can I play with my friends on the console? Those are the questions I have. Like, how's that going to work?
Good questions. I actually, we'll talk about it in one of the other ones too, because cross play is very important, but cross progression I think is really important too, and nobody ever talks about it.
Yes, and they kind of didn't like they talked about it a little bit, but what are they calling their cloud service?
Xcloud.
So that how does that play into
Xbox
this
turn off. It turned on my Xbox.
Your Xbox turned on. Yeah, but I want to know how does how do these features go into the Xcloud and stuff? So
right,
Xbox got a lot of plates in the air. Definitely anything like I'd said. I signed up for the $1 trial today. Trying to get it all working,
right?
Because I was excited about it, and Stadia is just a distant ass memory. Yeah. Like, there's no way.
And speaking of that $1 upgrade, so they did announce that you can try Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $1, or you can upgrade to it for $1. And I'm gonna say right off that I don't know how this works. I'll have to read it again because somebody sent it to me. But basically, between this deal and the other deals they have, somebody realized that you can get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $181 for 3 years, when usually it would cost $540. And basically, you could get 3 years of Xbox Live Gold and then upgrade for $1 to the Game Pass Ultimate, and some sort of math happens there and it works out. So if you guys are interested in that, I can post it in the VGB Discord if you would like to find out how to do that and you want to drop $180 right now and get it for 3 years and not worry about it.
Yeah, if it works, it sounds like a banger of a deal. $180 for
it really is.
Because what would I think they calculated to be over nearly $600?
$540.
Yeah, that's a lot of freaking money. And then
so you're basically paying for 3 years of Xbox Live Gold, and then you're paying an extra $1 to upgrade to Ultimate.
And you would actually spend more than that in just Halo if you wanted to buy it. By the time that collector's edition comes out,
oh man,
or whatever, that shit's gonna get expensive real quick. And I'm pretty sure every game we've talked about thus far is available day one on Games Pass. That's huge. Probably
yeah, that was the other thing. They said every single ID at Xbox game is day one Game Pass.
Yes. Oh, yeah. All the indie games for sure, and then anything owned by Xbox Studios, which they were, talking about how they've, picked up an extra 4 developers in the last couple months. The only one I think we've talked about that wouldn't be on there is Cyberpunk.
Yes. Cyberpunk will not be day one Game Pass.
Yeah, but the rest of them, and that's a lot of content. That's good.
So after Game Pass Ultimate, they spent a good amount of time on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, surprising amount of time.
I'm it looks pretty, I guess, if you have a 4K Xbox One X and a 4K TV that can run it, I suppose.
Yeah, I was
at a
loss.
So that's the thing if you're interested. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. I didn't know that was a thing we were asking for, but apparently it deserved a spot at E3.
You know what's funny? I went to, we were doing an early Father's Day thing with my in-laws. And he's an older gentleman, and he fancies himself a little bit of a gamer, but he's really into wars. He gets flown around to talk about battles and shit like that. So he's really into war. And he was asking me, we sit down at the table. He's like, I heard there's a video game conference coming up, Cory. I'm like, yeah, there actually is. He's like, do you know if they're going to be and he's like, how's the podcast going? I'm like, oh, it goes great. He's like, oh, what war games are coming out? And I was like, Call of Duty? He's like, oh, I thought you had a video game podcast and talked about games. He really... I guess you only talk about shooters. And I was like, no, we talk about other stuff. And then he goes out on his phone and he starts calling me out on all these war games coming out in the next 10 years that I never heard of. Oh, I guess you don't really do a podcast if you've never heard of this game.
You're fucking wrecked.
But this was for him. Now when
Happy
I go
Father's
back,
Day.
Yeah, Happy Father's Day. Here's Age of Empires.
So yeah, get him that for Father's Day.
There it is. I've made my decision.
Let's see. We went from there to Wastelands 3, which I didn't know there was a Wastelands 1 and 2.
Yeah, beat me.
Had no idea. I'm watching the whole thing. What am I looking at here? And I'll tell you, so I don't play RTSs. I don't play RTS games. And this is one of the reasons why, is because they showed this really cool trailer and all the cinematics. I'm like, this is cool. The game doesn't fucking look like that. It looks like a goddamn RTS.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think maybe they're going with the Fallout methodology or something.
It 100% looked like Fallout.
Yeah, just throw a 3 on there. There's 1 and 2 were probably mobile games or something, or card games, but now this is 3. Yeah.
So if you're into RTS games, check out Wastelands 3.
Yep.
They announced that they brought on new devs, or a new dev to Xbox Game Studios, which is Doublefine Productions, who are releasing Psychonauts 2, and showed us a trailer for that.
Oh my gosh, this was like the surprise for me. Like that was pretty freaking wild to see Tim Schafer on the Xbox stage like that. Like he's a legend of like that genre that you saw from Psychonauts, and even from his introduction of like, hey, yeah, you want us to work on a Halo? Send it our way. And to imagine him producing a Halo game.
Oh God.
That was some meta, like old school game stuff. That it was, so it's always good to see the legends like Tim Schafer get back up on the stage and doing stuff. As the Psychonauts though, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know.
I never played the first one, so I don't know.
I've never played any of them. It doesn't look like it's my type of thing. I'm like, who is this? I mean, this game is for kids, right?
No, I would say it's for people that played Psychonauts 1, which was in the early 2000s. When the fuck did Psychonauts come out?
Yeah, probably early 2000s. And Tim Schafer himself and most of the stuff they produce, like he's the Jack Black of video games. And so much so he actually... You know what,
that's funny, because when he walked out, I went, is that Jack... Like, I legitimately thought it was like, is that Jack Black?
Well, that's...
And they said Tim Schafer, and I was like, oh, never mind.
They collaborated on a game together, Brutal
Legends.
Yeah, so that's why when those two came together for that, everyone was like, oh, fucking match made in heaven. You actually have Jack Black with the Jack Black of video games. And that game was fun until it turned into an RTS. Yeah.
So Psychonauts 2, everybody, if you're excited, that was there.
Yeah. Tim Schafer.
We got a new Star Wars game to be excited, and it's just a Lego game. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Lego Star Wars will apparently have all 9 films, because there are apparently only 9 Star Wars movies in it. Yeah. And it is coming 2020, and that is all we know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Those things sell,
Lego
though.
Star Wars.
Like
they fucking do.
Somehow, you guys keep buying it, and now look what we have to deal with. So. Thanks, everybody.
My next bullet point just says some Dragon Ball weeb shit.
Hey! How dare you? Get out of here. This was one of the times I actually out loud went, yeah! When I saw the Curtis, what did you think?
I'm kind of weird. Like, I'm not, even though as much as I love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, anybody who's liked Dragon Ball for a long time can tell you when it comes to Dragon Ball games, like it's kind of 50-50, and I think that's even being generous. Like there's been some really good Dragon Ball games and there's been mostly crappy ones. It looks good, but that's kind of the deception of Dragon Ball games. You have to play it to really know how good it is, because they kind of all look good because Dragon Ball looks good. So that's kind of my take. I like, just from experience, I wasn't super excited, but I will tell you that I did get a little excited.
This looks like the reason I liked it is I enjoy the new Dragon Ball FighterZ and stuff, and I enjoy a majority of just the games for what they are. But a lot of them always have to kind of come up with, variations of the storylines and things like that. This one seems like it's going to take you through like Dragon Ball Z, from landing to, the Vegeta. And I think the voice acting, it was either they redubbed themselves or they just took the VO from the anime and adapted it or something, because it was line for line the anime. So I don't think it's going to be an RPG, no decision making in my opinion. I think you're just going to go through and experience a story from beginning to end through Frieza most likely. And like there's a lot of people like David Webb who's been interested in Dragon Ball Z, but not really wanting to watch the anime, this would be a way to get a bunch of people who may have missed the boat the first time around to understand the story and probably respect it even more because it's amazing.
Makes sense. I'm hoping so. Still, for me, I gotta actually play it, and I think that's the other thing too. Like as it comes out, like word will get around. But yeah, I gotta actually play it. But I'm hoping so. I mean, that would sound just fine. Like that's not the type of Dragon Ball game that would personally interest me, just because I have seen the whole Dragon Ball Z series like at least 10 times.
Yeah.
But like a successful Dragon Ball game only means that people are going to put more money behind another one. So I got a feeling, I think, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, obviously I like because it is a fighting game, but I think the next two out, I think eventually they'll come like a RPG, style that I'll be really into. So I hope this one does well.
Okay then.
Yep.
So that'll come out early 2020, they said.
Cool.
So after that, we got another one that I'm actually really interested in called 12 Minutes.
Yeah. How would you describe that?
So, well, they called it an interactive thriller.
Okay.
So 12 Minutes looks like not necessarily a game in the same way that a lot of people define a video game. It looks more like, I would assume it's going to be more like one of those kind of interactive movie types of deals, or interactive, whatever. But it looks to be about a man caught in a time loop and trying to figure out, like, this is going to happen and I can't figure out how to stop it. And you go through it again and again and again, like reliving the same horrible moment. It looks like reliving your death over and over until you can not die. It looks like it's
Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day on crack. It looks like it's creepy. It looks like it's a good mystery. It looks like it'll be interesting. I'm about it.
I think it's going to be one of those games like Stanley Parable, where you're going to get the game, and in the off chance that you make all the correct decisions, you'll probably beat the game in 12 minutes. But most of the fun, the fun of that kind of game, because Stanley Parable is the same way. Like technically, there is a way to beat it, and it doesn't take very long. But the whole fun of that game is screwing up and just seeing all the different outcomes and how how you affect the different things. And I don't know if the game straight up said how many different variations there are going to be, but I imagine it's going to be like infinitely replayable. I think one of those types of cool games.
That'd be interesting. This one looks good. I like this.
Yeah, me too.
So after that is where Way to the Woods came in. But after that, we got Gears 5.
I'm
gonna say it. This was an incredibly disappointing showing. As a Gears fan from the beginning, although I should say I didn't finish 4, because it was 4.
I do. Okay, so are you disappointed in what you saw or in what you didn't see? Put it that way.
I'm disappointed with what we didn't see.
Okay, perfect.
Keep in mind, with what we saw, this game comes out in 3 months, and we haven't seen jack shit.
That's a little
scary.
This
game comes out September 10th. So they come out and they show this really, really weird, very cryptic trailer that's not even, it's a teaser. It doesn't tell you anything about the story. It kind of does some weird visuals. This is the trailer I would expect to have seen a year ago.
True. Yeah, 100%.
This is and we're seeing it for the first time now. And then they come out of that trailer and they're talking about new game modes, they're talking about new gameplay, they're talking a little bit about like kind of what the narrative is going to be about. And then he says, and we'll tell you all about it this summer. Bitch, why are you here then? This is where you tell us about it. This is your event. I don't understand why. What? So he talks about there's going to be a tech beta in July, and that Gamescom in August is where they're going to show off the new Horde mode. Keeping in mind, this game comes out in September.
Dang.
And then they like go beneath the they go beneath the stage and they show off a new game mode called Escape, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It looks interesting, but again, this is not my thing. Like, I want to see what the narrative is going to look like. What is the gameplay going to look like? What is the narrative going to look like? But we get a cinematic trailer for Escape, which is a new game mode that, does look interesting. And then they cut to, and they're like, we brought in these WWE superstars, and they name some names that I don't fucking know.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know AJ Styles?
I don't fucking know who these people are. But they make a big deal. They're like, we brought in these WWE superstars, X, Y, and Z, to play this game and show it off. And then they cut away and they never showed anything.
I think
There was
that
not
yeah.
1 second of gameplay.
No, that was I was gonna say I thought the trailer at the beginning was awesome, but you were 100% right. We should have saw this like a year ago. But Gears makes great trailers. They've done that forever, so
They do.
That wasn't a surprise. But then they started going into all the game modes and didn't show a lick of the goddamn. Yeah, I don't know how you get away with that.
3 months this game comes out. Your game should be finished right now.
But really, has a Gears game ever let us down because of the mechanics?
I mean,
We know it's
Gears of
gonna-
War Judgment.
The mechanics were solid. Like I think everything else was just because it was the same engine as Gears whatever was out at the same time.
I don't fucking know. This was incredibly disappointing. As one of Microsoft's like big claims to fame of like they have Gears of War, like this was really really disappointing.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll get it because it's gonna be Game Pass day one, and I would have got it anyway. But what the fuck?
Terminator was a weird flex.
That was stupid. Okay. So, Gears of War is going to have a Terminator character pack. That, I was like, shit, is this game dead?
Why?
Is that because that, like, why? What is the point of that? It has nothing to do with the game. You're bringing in a blockbuster Hollywood movie to drum up, like, appeal for it because your game's not good enough on its own? Like, this felt like something a dying game would do, and I'm upset about it.
I don't know. Mortal Kombat does it now. They always throw in Jason and all these other franchises that roughly fit in. I'm sure they make a bunch of money off of it, and it's not a stretch. Like the Terminator, skins kind of will fit in with there, but it was just a weird flex. Like I don't know why that was announced here and the way it was. It was just kind of
doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It was an afterthought. It was kind of strange.
Like it just doesn't fit in with the story. Like I don't know, because you're just taking it away from the narrative. You're taking whatever that is. Like, you put that in, and it's no longer the Gears of War narrative. It's no longer that universe. It's not open to whatever. And I'm just like,
I think it'll be online only, but because that would be really disappointing if, Emmaskies drops into my game as, Terminator.
That would be so stupid.
I'm trying to get immersed.
No, it'll for sure be online only.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, they announced a new Elite controller. Which is
goddamn
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive.
$180.
Oh, that's confirmed.
Yeah, because you can buy it right now, or you can pre-order it.
Damn.
So it's $180. It will be available in November. That is compared to the original Elite controller, which was $150. What I'm really hoping is that this knocks the price down on the Elite controller because I need a new Elite controller.
Wait, you had one?
I have one, yeah. But
Really?
my dog threw up on it, and now the left and up buttons on the D-pad don't work.
Jeez.
And do you know how long the warranty is on a $150 controller?
No.
30 days.
Oh, ouch.
What?
Yep, found that out when it broke. I was like, are you shitting me? So,
Wow.
there's that. So I'm really hoping that they will knock the price of the original Elite controller, and if they do that, and it's reasonable, I would actually recommend getting one. I cannot play Overwatch without an Elite controller anymore.
How? Like, what does it do for you that's different?
Having the flippers on the bottom is game-changing. You just have
macros
extra
are
buttons.
serious.
Yeah, so you can map those, and then you can have different profiles for different games.
Okay.
And then it looks like on this one you can even easier switch between those profiles. You can have 3 profiles on the controller itself. It's actually not bad. Like it's a good piece of tech. I really enjoy it. I love it.
It looks like a premium product. The big things visually were those. I think they added like the rubberized grips to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not. The Elite controller has rubberized grips, but they don't look like that.
Oh, okay. And then also they made a big deal to show that you could you could manage the torque or the tension on
on the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, which I don't believe you can do on the current Elite. You can switch out the thumbsticks and pads that you have, but I don't think you can change the tension. And then this one has Bluetooth, which the original Elite controller does not have.
Okay.
And it'll work, I can't remember, the Elite must because the regular one does, but it'll work immediately with your PC as well.
Yeah.
So, the Elite controller is actually like a good piece of hardware. I like it.
It looks premium. They did a great job with its charge case thing too. You get 40 hours on that thing, so I guess if you use a controller, that's the one to have. It's the Rolls Royce.
If you can afford it, if you can spend the money on it, like go for it.
It's the Rolls Royce of controllers, is what it is.
Yeah. Yes. Excessively so.
Scuff and Astro have kind of been coming up. So I mean, obviously there was already that previous Elite controller, but I think this kind of hey, everybody remember we make dope stuff too, and it's already integrated into our stuff. So it makes sense for the people that can shell out money for that type thing. I have an Astro, what is it, the C40, and I despise playing with the PlayStation controller after that, because same thing. I love those profiles that you can set up, and I can really quickly just map a button by holding buttons and stuff like that. It comes in handy.
Nice.
So you can get that in November if you like for $180. They went from that to Dying Light 2, which I'm not going to lie, I thought already came out.
No.
Thought that game already came out a while ago. But Dying Light 2, we got a new trailer for it, and it is coming spring 2020. Anybody Dying Light 1?
I played that one. The one that kind of another Elizabeth moment from an outsider perspective that really helped me was she heard all the people going, whoa, people were getting kind of hyped because it's pretty abundantly clear what it was. And so she's like, what is this one? Why is everyone excited? And then I was kind of hyped for it until I had to hear myself say it out loud. I was like, yeah, this was okay game from 10 years ago. Actually, I don't know why people are so excited, because it was good, but it wasn't that good. It's just one of those absence makes the heart grow fonder. It didn't suck. It has Roger Craig Smith as the voice actor. The storyline was interesting, but there's a lot of flaws with the first one. And for me, it was they had the worst NPCs ever. It was those ones that don't move, and they're always in shelter, and they're got the cold dead eyes, and there's not really any conversations you're having with them. So it was just a parkour zombie killing game. That's
Fair
all
enough.
it is, with a storyline.
So we went from Dying Light 2 to back-to-back the two worst things from this entire conference that are just stupid. We started with Lego in Forza Horizon 4.
So
Who the fuck
basically,
asked for this, and who cares?
100%, they got us all excited and then needed to bring us down before giving us something hype. It has to be that. And this was when you go use the restroom, because it was a waste of time.
This was a bathroom break.
It was a waste of time. They brought out usually they bring out the McLaren. This time they brought out a McLaren made of Legos. Now you get
so fucking stupid.
Yeah, now you can play it, and then some. You know what? This is when something gets so beautiful and then they just completely regress, because it's always been about how beautiful you can make these cars look. And now they're just fuck it, everything is awesome. Now you can play with a fucking Lego
isn't that the
car.
whole point? That's why Forza is always motherfucking at the Xbox game conferences, and they're always on launch. It's because the whole point is that these games are gorgeous, and it's just to show off the technology.
Exactly.
What the fuck is the point of putting Legos in that?
Yeah, it was really dumb.
Stupid. And then you're okay, this is the low point. I can't get any worse than this. Microsoft had the gall to show Gears Pop 2 years in a row at E3. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I'm physically angry that you're making me look at this right now. What the fuck? So Gears Pop is a shitty Funko Pop mobile game for Gears of War, and they showed it last year.
This game needed 2 years of hype, and I'm assuming it was delayed or something.
Why is this game not out?
Or this game has been done for 6 years, and they're just waiting for the most opportune time to try and cash in on the Gears 5 hype.
I don't fucking know, man. I was mad. I'm like, you motherfuckers made me watch this shit 2 years in a row. This shit. I was so mad. I'm still mad.
Yeah, people get upset when it's Cyberpunk, and you've seen it at 2 or 3 E3s. You're like, all right, this is getting annoying. This is Gears Pop. This should have been.
This is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it's a waste of space.
My note literally just says Lego and Forza Horizon 4, and then Gears Pop can fuck off.
Jeez.
Just what the note is on that.
Wow.
Suck my dick, Microsoft. Unacceptable.
Jeez.
I don't know why that made me so viscerally angry, but it did.
No,
we got a trailer for State of Decay 2's DLC Heartland.
Yeah, another one. really could care less about. I State of Decay 2 is fun, but why are we giving up so much real estate to some just expansion content? It's not really going to change the game up at all.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I've never played State of Decay, but the way that they did like 2 separate stories, like new quests, new storyline DLC, I'm always down for that in a game. So I mean, I guess if you like State of Decay 2, you might like that.
Yeah, Games Pass, it's free, so whatever.
And then we got to something that I looked at and I went, who the fuck cares about this? Who asked for this? And apparently the entire internet lost their minds. Phantasy Star Online 2.
Oh, Emma, you're playing a dangerous game here.
I am, because I don't know what this is, and everybody was very, like, I was, like, looking at it, I'm like, do we care about it? Even my chat was, like, excited. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm excited that you're excited, and I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online is, like, one of the OG, like, console MMO multiplayer RPG experiences, so there's a whole generation of older millennials that this is their game. This is the one that takes them all back. So when they see 2, of course they're going to lose their shit. Did you have any experience with this one, Curtis?
0.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I was like, what is this?
Fair enough.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it holds a very dear spot in many people's hearts because at the time it was really groundbreaking what they were doing and what they brought to that genre. But, Phantasy Star Online 2, people are hype, not me.
People are very excited.
Happy,
there's a lot
I'm
of that.
Happy for 'em.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's a lot of that on like, not even just Twitter, like my Facebook timeline. Like, a lot of my friends are losing their minds. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got a good announcement. We went from that into another announcement that I don't know about. Actually, the next 2 of these are things that I was unsure about. But Crossfire X is coming to console, it sounds like, for the first time.
Yeah, I guess it's a big deal in the West or the East.
It's Korean, right?
Yeah. I guess, and I think what they did a bad job is educating us on what it was exactly. They assumed we all knew.
Yeah.
And
they hyped up a lot. They're like, this is a legendary game. Like, everybody loves this, and you're all so... I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, and all the cinematics were like, oh, you're on a ship now, you're underwater. Like, there was no... was it first person, over the shoulder? What the fuck is this? RTS? I can't tell. But it is a first-person shooter that has, a hardcore following of... Like, it's even Esports over there, too. So it's... I don't know.
So that's the thing. If you're excited for that, congratulations. We got the next game in the Tales of series, being Tales of Arise, coming out in 2020. I have no idea what these games are.
Hardcore weeb shit right there.
Yes, because this was a Bandai Namco, right?
I believe so. I don't know who does it now, but they've had like Tales of Vesperia. There's always like a Tales.
Yeah, because Tales of Vesperia was that last E3 or 2 E3s ago?
I think Vesperia was a long ass time ago. Like, I was still working at GameStop when that came out.
Oh, I'm thinking of. I might be thinking of something else then. Something in the Tales of was. I feel like I don't fucking know. I'm talking about my ass. I don't know what any of these games are. But yeah, that's the thing. If you're excited about it, I'm excited for you.
Yep. Let us know.
We got a new trailer. Yeah, let us know in the Discord, Twitter, places.
Yeah.
I was gonna say comments, but we don't really have comments.
In the iTunes rating, give us a 5
iTunes rating
in the 5-star and tell us why you like Tales of Vesperia.
We'll only read your comment if you give us 5 stars.
Exactly.
We got a new trailer for Borderlands 3.
Seen it.
I was gonna say I expected more of a reaction from that, but
well, no, their show is actually really good. They're doing some really fucking dope stuff with the whole dropping a new expansion for
yes.
And this one is legitimately free, right? If you own the game on any platform, you just get the free expansion.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that a little bit last night, that there was rumor that they were going to do a free DLC for Borderlands 2 that would lead into Borderlands 3.
Yes. So in the trailer, we learned that Lilith somehow is not
a siren.
Yeah, she's not a siren anymore. So I'm assuming we're going to see how she loses her power. Maybe it's all about taking down a cult. We actually know what the abilities are now, which is kind of cool. I'm all about this Beastmaster guy. He's going to be my go-to. There's another siren. How would you describe the other ones?
I've never played Borderlands, so I don't know.
Yeah, one was like a mercenary like they normally have, but I don't know. I didn't fully understand his kit, but it's just Borderlands. They dropped all the funny stuff with the gun running around.
Claptrap, that was a good moment.
Yeah, he had a good moment in there. They announced Handsome Jack Collection is going to be Games Pass like as of right now.
Which is a fucking bummer because I swear I just bought that game and I'm like right out the return timeline. And right now it's on Game Pass and it's free on PS Plus and I have both.
Oh no.
I was like, shit, that sucks.
Yeah, sucks to be you.
Because I actually want to play Borderlands because I've never played it.
It's a good playthrough. I would definitely recommend just starting on 2. I tried to go back to do a Borderlands 1 playthrough and it's just painstakingly annoying. It's one of those games where when you didn't know there was better, it's fine, and then they gave you all these quality of life updates in 2. So going back to play 1 is like impossible because you can't do.
But what if I've never played them and I never had those updates and I go back to play 1 and I don't know any better?
You can do it. That's the only way I'd recommend playing it. It's still a little annoying, but yeah.
We got a cinematic trailer for From Software's new game with George R.R. Martin, Elden Ring, and I don't fucking know what it's about.
Good, because I was starting to question my own self. I left that thing having no clue what this thing is.
All I remember is some guy was holding a severed arm. It was gross. They were talking about destroying a ring. I was like, is this Lord of the Rings? What's going on? Mm-hmm. That's it. That's literally all I caught.
I mean, what's George R.R. Martin doing here? Like, I don't know if I trust him that much as a writer or an artist at this point, just to throw his name on it and then maybe like, oh, fuck yeah, especially with how that last season of Game of Thrones ended. And is this like Dark Souls gameplay with George R.R. Martin?
I would imagine so because it's the same, like it's the company that made Dark Souls and made Sekiro, so I'm imagining it's going to be along that same lines of like ridiculously, stupidly hard, difficult games.
Yeah.
Apparently, this was someone's what were you saying, Emma?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that someone is an opportunist, like so many people. They knew the last season was coming up. They anticipated it being better. The gears were already in motion. The last season sucked, and now they're kind of stuck. They're stuck, with the bill at the end of dinner.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like, George R. R. Martin's last book came out, 9 years ago? Why is he doing anything that's not writing? You have missed every single deadline your publishers have set for you, sir. Every single one. Write a goddamn book. Stop making games.
I question, like we had Guillermo del Toro teaming up with Kojima, and so I think this is like one of those types of collaborations. They're giving us Miyazaki and then throwing him with George R. R. Martin, and we have no idea.
Other Miyazaki. This is not the Miyazaki of the Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's Hayao Miyazaki. This is not the same guy.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I saw that too. I saw Miyazaki and I was excited and I saw the first name and I was like, that's not him.
Oh, well then now what little excitement
also, that would be a super weird game for Miyazaki because his movies are all like bright and colorful, and what the hell would have happened to him to make this?
Yeah. No, this is definitely twisted. Not my style.
I don't even know if it's my style. It probably isn't because it's From Software, but like it was just a cinematic that told me literally nothing. So, I mean, we'll hear more about it, I'm sure, not until next E3.
Yeah.
But we know it exists now, and that's really it.
Yep.
So, Xbox had to say something about next gen because PlayStation has been.
Yeah.
But they have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And so their Projekt Scarlett presentation is exactly what I said it would be. I'm like, they're not going to say anything about specs. They're not going to have anything to show. This was a fluff piece, just to say that we're working on next gen. They used a lot of words to say absolutely nothing.
I'm interested what Curtis thought, because they did throw a lot of like technical jargon that I honestly didn't even understand.
I don't like when people do that, because the technical jargon should only ultimately lead to something that makes sense, and that's very fluid. when people start talking too deep like that and they just use a bunch of buzzwords, I usually tuned out, and that's kind of what happened. I was like, okay, you're not trying to show me or tell me, like what this really is. You're trying to impress me with a bunch of technical crap, and like I said, to most people or the layman or whatever you want to call, or even the average gamer, it doesn't really mean a whole lot.
The moment that I knew that was exactly what they were doing is when one of the developers referred to the SSD and the solid state drive.
Oh no! I missed that.
What?
I missed that.
I caught it. The chat caught it. We were all like, "Did he just say the SSD and the solid state?" That's the same. What?
Same thing.
It was just like, okay, you literally have nothing to say, and you just have to put together some sort of package because PlayStation has stuff coming out about the PS5.
Yeah, they just threw out the big things: 8K graphics, solid state drive, like you said, ray tracing, some stuff.
They hit
with
the buzzwords.
Yeah, proprietary. There was a video of a guy with an exposed, motherboard, and he was, testing
using a
it and
screwdriver.
stuff. Yeah, there's a guy using a screwdriver. They really got serious and let us know that they're not fucking around.
Oh man.
Then they basically broke it down to us a little too much. Like, they gave us all this stuff, and then they're like, and that basically means 0 load times. I hate load screens, and there was a bunch of like developers talking about how they hate that, and so 20% less load screens, 120 hertz refresh rates, all sorts of crazy stuff, and Halo will be the first game with it or whatever.
Yes. So we got the codename Projekt Scarlett, which we already knew. And then they announced that this next gen will launch with Halo Infinite, and we went into Halo Infinite section of the show.
Again, I think this hit me. I felt this about this that you felt about Gears. Super disappointed with what we got to see.
So I will say, I am a Halo mega fan. I live for Halo. I've played all the games. It's what got me into playing games in the first place, at least into playing games hardcore. I've read some of the books. I've got some of the comics. I've got all the memorabilia and shit. And like, I was sitting here with my Master Chief helmet in my lap, and we're like watching it together. I was so excited. I am severely disappointed that we only got another cinematic trailer and not a second of gameplay when you announced this game last year.
Yeah. And it's going to be all over next E3 because Holiday 2020. When I saw Holiday 2020, I was like heartbroken.
Yeah. December.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So we got we can talk about the trailer. We got a cinematic and 90% of the cinematic isn't even about the Master Chief. You kind of come across this guy, just some Pelican pilot who, through a series of events, becomes stranded in space. He's been there a while. He's got a family back home that he's missing. He's got a wife and a child who's now grown up. We don't really know how long it's been, but it's been some time. He looks older. I don't know how he's surviving. I don't know how much food he's gotten there. But he finds the Master Chief out just floating around in space, pulls him in, gets his power to his suit back up, and is attacked by something. Like
immediately following, they get attacked, and Master Chief does the Master Chief thing. Where's my gun?
We gotta fight. We're not gonna run.
Yeah, we don't run. We fight.
He's got the Cortana chip, which touched me and right in my soul, and I said, "Oh, he's got the chip still." Yeah. Because in the end of Halo 5, if I remember correctly, Cortana split herself. She was going rampant for a while, and she split herself into, hundreds of different pieces to stop the Didact. And that's where her ending was, and I'm trying to rack my brain, and I literally just played Guardians again, like, last year, and I can't remember where Master Chief leaves off, but apparently somehow he's floating around in space.
Yeah, the stuff online is saying that Halo Infinite is, and this is a quote that everybody's using, is a spiritual reboot of the franchise. So I guess it takes place.
I can see that.
It takes place 3 years after the events of Halo 5.
I can see that because Guardians was so poorly received.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think people really cared where that story was going. I'm sure anything in this new one will only be referenced. I think whatever happened after 5, that 3 years will play a toll on Master Chief, but I wouldn't expect to actually go through and play through it.
Yeah, I think the only part of that story that anybody cares about is the Cortana bit.
Yeah. And that was one of the cool things in here too, is when Master Chief wakes up, like he's like ready to fight again. And he's like, "What are you talking about, dude? It's over. We lost." And they show, and it's been destroyed. So whatever he was trying to do has been lost, which kind of fits because that's how the original Halo like basically started. You start in a big loss, and you gotta fight the insurmountable odds to reinstate humanity.
So I can't wait, I guess, until next E3 when we actually get to see some shit. But I was really, really bummed that we didn't have a single second of gameplay. They gave us exactly what they gave us last year, which was a cryptic cinematic.
Yeah.
And like even the Cortana stuff, like that was her voice lines from Halo 5.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Wow. Really?
Yeah, it was him remembering a conversation that she was having with him where she told him like, they let me pick which of the Spartans I wanted, and I picked you. That's a conversation that we've had with them before in the game.
Yeah,
it's like a sweet one. It touches me right in my soul, and it gets me right in my Master Chief and Cortana heart. And like it gets me, and I love it. And I'm like sitting here and I'm holding my replica of the Cortana chip and like about to cry, but
you'll get it in over a year now, about a year and a half.
And it'll be launching on the next gen, so I will have to get it on whatever the new Xbox is, which means I'll have to buy the new Xbox. Which obviously I would anyway, but like...
I doubt it.
I just want this fucking game.
I highly doubt that this next generation of consoles is going to be different. I'm 90% sure it'll still work on Xbox One.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Because I'm trying to remember like launch titles for the Xbox One, where those weren't really backwards compatible, because they didn't really do backwards compatibility with Xbox One for a long time.
Wasn't a thing. Didn't exist.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised, if it's not backwards compatible. Even after, the kind of outrage that eventually made them create backwards compatibility.
Yeah, or we'll all everybody will be on that cloud service where it doesn't really matter what console you have. It'll just be in that Xcloud or something.
Yeah. Although, it'll be a day one Game Pass, so at least there's that.
Yeah, there you go. And you have it for 5 years for if you follow what Winchester told us.
I'll post that in the Discord. Yeah. So that was the Microsoft briefing.
Overall, I was optimistic. I left it really excited about Cyberpunk and the Outer Worlds. Those were my two major takeaways. What about you, Emma?
My majors were Outer Worlds, Ori, Away to the Woods, and I mean Halo Infinite, just in the fact that like it exists, but I was very bummed out about the actual showing. I really, really am interested in 12 minutes, and then just honestly utter disappointment with the flagships with Gears of War and Halo. Yeah, which is a bummer.
Yeah, Curtis, outside looking in, any more interested today in getting an Xbox than you were yesterday?
The Cyberpunk got me. Like I was literally thinking about it. Like, man, I'm gonna have to like borrow somebody's or something, because Cyberpunk looks great. And then
it's not gonna be Xbox exclusive.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah. That's the cool thing.
I was under their impression that it was.
No, it's just that usually games like Cyberpunk that occupy that, blockbuster that's going to be on both chooses, I'm going to be on the PlayStation stage or the Windows one. And now that PlayStation isn't there, they'd be fools not to just hitch their wagons onto the Microsoft presentation.
Yeah, of course. Makes total sense. And, I mean, just as far as, since Stadia has been such a large part of our conversation lately and the larger gaming conversation, still trying to figure out exactly how it's all going to play out. I liked that. I like to see that Xbox had a rebuttal, ready to go, with the Xbox PC Game Pass. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes, Xbox Game Pass PC and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So that's the Microsoft show, everybody.
Yeah. And then we had one more, which we could kind of just hit her on the high level because there's way less. So the really Bethesda show is a lot easier because it's, it's a single company with, a single developer for the most part. Or like a couple different developers. So they started out with a lot of self-deprecation,
a lot of, we fucked up last year.
Yeah.
We know. We're sorry. We'll do better.
Yeah, their marketing team was putting in some overtime too, because they really tried to hammer that home with those video packages of like how happy their employees are and how all the employees are just fans like you. And then the next one was all their fan highlights and, talking about how amazing and how all the Bethesda games changed their lives and the communities are so nice and stuff. And they were just really trying to overplay get back into our good graces.
So they started out, as far as like things that they actually started announcing, they started out with Elder Scrolls Blades, which, is anybody playing this game?
No, I didn't even know it was out.
Me neither. So it's apparently in early access right now, but coming soon they're going to have solo arena battles, new jobs, new Dragon Quest line, new custom jewelry, because who doesn't want that in their game?
All the girls out there, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what we want. And that comes out tonight. And then later this year, Elder Scrolls Blades will be coming to the Switch Blades, in fall 2019 for free, and it will have cross-play and cross-progression, which is what I like to hear.
That was clever. Like, I think that was the marketing guy who came up with that definitely got a raise. We're going to call it Switchblades. I thought, this game we saw a lot on the stage show, and then, like, I guess people hated it, so they delayed it, and now they're kind of relaunching, which I think was the theme of Bethesda this whole time. Like, at least the first half that I watched, it was like
fixing mistakes.
Yeah, the whole thing was, and even Todd Howard kind of came out, and that was his first big joke. Wow,
I felt so bad.
I'm surprised you guys are even here, is what he actually said. And they cut, it was...
There's a moment in there where he's talking about all the things that they got from fans, and he mentions, and he's like, and we got some good criticisms, and people lost their minds, like cheering and yelling, and whoa, yeah, we told you a bitch, and like he just has to stand there and wait for the applause to stop. And it's just like, end me now.
That was the other thing. This crowd was clearly inebriated because they were rowdy.
It was loud. There was like one guy in particular that wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, there's that one woo guy who was going nuts, and then on top of that, they would just say anything, literally anything, when they did their like structured pauses, and it was almost like there was an applause sign or something because everyone would just lose their shit.
Well, there was I don't know if it was in the Microsoft or the Bethesda one, but it cut away, like it pans out to show the crowd, and you can see the subtitles that are on like the big screen, and it says applause when they pause.
Oh, wow.
I was like, all right. So after that, we moved into Fallout 76, and they talk about, there was a moment where he talks about how great the community is. He's like, the community of this game is so great. Like, we made a nuclear wasteland, multiplayer game, and we expected it, not, everybody's nice. And I'm like, that's because 7 people play your game.
Yeah, nobody griefs in our game.
If people played your game, you'd have more griefers.
Yeah, griefers only play games where there's an audience to be griefed.
Yeah, there's somebody to mess with.
Yeah.
So they announced the biggest expansion they've done so far for Fallout 76, which is called Wastelanders, and the biggest piece of that being that there are going to be human NPCs.
So
it's so weird that you have to announce a year later that your game is going to have human NPCs.
I was really mad. Because I think, the part that really pissed me off is coming in a minute, but I hate when developers fuck up and then they go to correct their mistakes and then they act like they're giving you the world of this world. He said, come with me and we'll be. And they're painting this picture of, look what we're doing for you. And we could look back. We did like 8 episodes on how awful this launch was and how much of a ripoff, and they abused their fans who wanted to get like the canvas bags, and then they ended up putting a canvas bag in the game that cost more than the fucking one they sent. Like it was a disaster. And then they come out and try and give us things that the original should have had and expect us just to lose our shit over it. I was really mad at just the way they presented the information.
Fair enough. I can see that because they talked about, so they announced human NPCs, which like they put a big stressor on. You have new quests, new weapons and gears, new dialogue. Like, he's like, you get full dialogue trees. I'm like, you mean like a Fallout game?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you were supposed to have? Like, yes, of course you do.
And then even towards the end, he kind of framed it as if the first year was all about exploration. Yeah, you guys planned that. You guys really, that was, no, you guys got the feedback of this is it, and then really went into probably panic mode. They called an audible. And this is what we get. And I got the game for free when I got my Xbox One X, so I'll have full access to all the features. And I'm probably just gonna hate not play it, like just out of being
out of
pissed
spite.
off, out of spite.
Yeah, he said year 1 was about you settling the wasteland, and year 2 is about people coming back to claim it.
Yeah.
So it's like year 1 was you exploring and you taking your time and settling your area, and then year 2, oh, people come back to it and you can like have a story in a game.
Yeah, if that was in the cards, that would have been announced at the last E3 when this came out. Even if it was a later feature, like they don't just go from 0 of that feature to all of a sudden 100 of it. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, so that update is going to be free and it's coming later this year. Currently, they are having a free trial that runs from June 10th, which is tomorrow, Monday, through June 17th. And so you'll be able to play that. And then came what pissed me off.
No, I'm not at the part that pissed me off yet. I think we have the same part.
52-player Fallout Battle Royale.
Yep.
What the fuck?
What was really annoying was... I think it's a little cringy when companies try too hard to be edgy by cursing during their stage shows. Like the delivery when it's so forced, and he actually said these words. He was like, "Fallout Battle Royale, fuck yeah!" Nobody's
not excited for this.
No, those words should never be put together. Fuck yeah, Battle Royale Fallout. Like, that's not what we've been waiting for. That is the furthest thing.
I'm embarrassed for Fallout.
Fallout fans do not want Battle Royale. We want complicated, complex storylines with amazing storytelling and, you know, to go in there and, you know, fuck things up when you want to or play things the right way. You don't want to just drop into a 52-player Battle Royale for a shitty game that's mechanics weren't built for that.
Also, like, why 52 players?
Because that's all they can handle.
What a weird number. Why not 50?
Yeah, it's a random number.
They had a panic meeting after Fallout 76, said, how do we fix this? And one guy said, well, maybe we just give the people the storylines. And another guy said, what if we did a Battle Royale? All right, go to work. Both teams, do what you got to do. And the Battle Royale one is, you know, the game wasn't meant to be that. So they could only put a cap on a certain amount of players or characters that they can do based off of the limitations of the game they created. This is a pivot. It's not a feature, and they sell it to you that way, and that's what was frustrating from a company that I had so much respect for. Yeah.
So that ended the Fallout bit. Todd Howard, you know, walks off stage and goes back to wherever he goes. And Pete Hines comes back out. He's talking a bit about what their, you know, Bethesda's been working on, and he says at one point, he's like, you know, we're still hard at work on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. And I'm going to spoil it for you right now. That is every single mention we got of Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Not mentioned in any capacity after this.
Nope. And that's when you know to tune out. That's when I was done with this thing. I know there was some other cool stuff coming up, and I got the gist of it on Twitter, but I was really just kind of mad. I don't even know how you do that. Like, nothing.
Especially, like, if they didn't have anything to announce for Elder Scrolls 6, that's fine. But then you shouldn't have announced that you were making it last year.
Yeah. Show us the same trailer. Do something.
Like, they ended the show last year with Elder Scrolls 6. And it was nothing. It was literally just a title screen that said Elder Scrolls 6. But that means that you're working on it. How do you go a year and have nothing to show?
Nothing. Not one goddamn thing. Super frustrating.
So, that was a thing. But fortunately, they did talk about a new IP after that.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So they brought out, I don't remember what the company was called, but they brought out a couple people from a company that is making a game called, what was it called? Ghostwire Tokyo. And the creative director for this game was such a spunky woman. She was having a good time. She was happy to be there. She was adorable. I love her.
Yeah.
She enjoys her job. Good for her. She announces Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know. I think it's because I want to say Ghost Recon.
Yeah, Ghost Recon, iconic franchise. This is very far different, and I gotta say, of all the little cinematics and trailers we've seen, probably was one of the best looking.
Yeah.
As far as the character models for humans.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, this looks amazing. I don't know if the game's gonna look like this, but as a cinematic, like I thought they were showing like real footage at first.
Yeah, it was almost uncanny valley just on how great a lot of the face textures and the way they were even walking looks so natural. Like watch it again.
So the idea for this game is that people are disappearing, and they show it in the cinematic. Like people are there, and then they're just gone, and their clothes just fall to the floor. Like the person is just Thanos out of existence.
Yeah.
So people are disappearing all over the place, and you have to find out why. So it's a new action-adventure game. It's spooky, but it's not survival horror, which I take it is what this company is known for based on how they were talking. And it's a mystery. It's a mystery. It's an action-adventure. There's a lot of exploration. There's a lot of story in there, and it has my interest. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, no, I bet it'll be a decent game. We didn't get much outside of the cinematics like you had mentioned, so like there's not a whole lot to go off. I don't know if it's going to be was there any dates on this one, or is this one where we're going to have to wait till next E3 to get the details we want?
Yeah, I don't have one written down, so if I had to guess, they didn't announce a date, because I think I wrote down all the dates.
Bummer.
So that actually looks good. Ghostwire Tokyo. Keep an eye on that one. That looks like it'll be fun. They got into some Elder Scrolls Online news, which I don't play, so like I don't know. But they showed like a really long, really intense cinematic. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks way better than the game looks.
Yes.
I've played that one, off and on, and I don't know. I wasn't too stoked about that.
So they announced story DLC called Dragonhold, which is going to be coming in Q4 of this year. And new dungeon DLC called Scalebreaker, which is coming in August. And that seems to have been it.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at it and I was like, what are we announcing here?
Just more of the same.
Yep.
More of the same.
Speaking of more of the same, more of something not the same, Commander Keen.
What the fuck was this?
I don't know, man. So Commander Keen is an old id Software game. It was id's game before Wolfenstein.
Really?
Yeah. And it, like they said, like it plays very much, or it looks very much like it's basically like a Saturday morning cartoon as a video game.
Okay.
And like, I mean, this looks cute for kids. Like if I had children or knew children, I would probably say that this looks like a game for them. I think this is what the kids like.
Is it? Because I thought there was some like cursing in the cinematic, wasn't there?
I don't know.
I think they said ass, and they did like the implied F word, but it got interrupted by like some.
That's fine.
Noise.
That's fine for kids.
I don't know. Maybe your kids. My kids.
I mean, it's fine for me.
Here you go.
So Commander Keen, they spent a good amount of time on Commander Keen.
Yeah.
Like that was something that, was supposed to be a big deal or something. I don't know if it was, and like maybe we just don't get it because we didn't play it or something. I don't know. But they're bringing back an old game. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's coming this summer. It's going to be... Was that the one that was going to be a free... Yeah, it's a free-to-play mobile game.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
What came after that? Elder Scrolls Legends. So Elder Scrolls Legends is the Elder Scrolls card game. And my biggest complaint with this is, can we stop making really intense high production value card game trailers? Because the game is not like that.
Yeah, this was over the top. They did like a big elaborate segue into it. Like you can play it over a cup of coffee, and you cut to a guy in a coffee shop, and then that was like the lead in to this way over the top cinematic that has nothing to do with this Hearthstone ripoff. I'm
like, you're playing a fucking card game on your phone. It is not that immersive. It ain't that deep.
Yeah.
Like, chill. We know. So, Elder Scrolls Legends has Moons of Elsewhere expansion available. Is going to be later this month, I think. Later this month or next month. I kind of missed. I zoned out a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Totally fine.
You into the card games, Curtis?
No, not at all. I don't play any card games really.
Well, that's that then.
Yep.
None of us will be getting this expansion. So we moved from there to Rage 2, which I'm not gonna lie, I forgot was a Bethesda game.
I forgot this game was already out. Like, it's been out for like 2 months apparently, and this is
it's been out for a while.
First expansion.
The only
I've been
reason I
seeing
want this
people
game,
play a lot of it.
Have you on Twitch?
Yeah.
On Twitch and even on YouTube. I did not know it was a Bethesda game either, though.
The only reason I want this game is because Raul Coley has like a bit part in a couple parts of the game, and I'm like, I almost want it just for that. And I mean, it looks fun. If you know Rage, then you know what the game is. But they announced new cheat codes, new enemies, new vehicles, and the Rise of Ghosts expansion. It all looks very fun. It all looks very, very over the top, very, very Rage.
Yeah, it's very self-aware in like the first part of the trailer where they were like spoofing like 90s sitcom introductions.
Yeah.
Just kind of let you know exactly what you're in for. The game does not take itself seriously. It's about way over the top mechs and all this crazy stuff. I went from zero interest. This did get me interested in that game. I might check that out.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it's good. I heard people like it.
Yeah.
And then we went from that to Wolfenstein. So, I know his first name was Yerk, and I don't remember his last name, but somebody comes out to talk about Wolfenstein, and he talks about 2 new Wolfenstein games that are coming this year, and I think it's important to remember both of these were talked about and announced at last year's E3.
Yep.
But not bad. So Ghost, I'm looking at the wrong part of my notes. Where was I? Wolfenstein Cyberpilot is the first one. It's a VR game. That I'm trying to remember if I just saw it or if I got to play it at E3 last year, or if I saw somebody else playing it. But, I mean, it looks fun. It looks like a thing. I did play it. Okay. I was trying to think of, like, why does this look so familiar? Because I played it at their VR booth last year. It's a fun VR, shoot 'em up, kind of kill piloted mechs, things like that.
Yeah.
Nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah. The other one is the Youngblood, though, which they gave us a big trailer last year with the 2 female protagonists,
which pissed everybody off, and I was living for it.
Was it one of those?
Dudes get so mad when women front a game. They get so angry.
What was it's Wolfenstein. It's an OG game that probably has that OG fan base. They're used to a certain thing with that game.
Well, get with the times.
Yeah.
So Cyberpilot, before we get away from it, is available in July. And then, yes, they moved into Youngblood. They talked a little bit about it. It's about 2 twin sisters. It has co-op. It's set in the 80s. And it comes out July 26th. And I got so excited for this game. Because as soon as they said it's about 2 twin sisters and it's the whole game is co-op, I'm getting this for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm getting it for my sister.
There you go.
And I'm real excited. I'm like, we're going to play this together. Because I'm actually bummed because she's just about to move away. Like, days before this comes out. But, like, I'm going to get it for her and, like, send it with her. And be like, you do that. We'll play over online. This is what we're going to do. It's going to be great. I'm very excited for it now. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah. I love again, it's kind of a thing. It's popular right now. The synth, what do we call it? Synthwave type of look, like Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Was kind of like one of the first games that I remember experimenting with it. So it does have that like Blood Dragon type title screens and stuff. And it's rare to get a good first person shooter that has like multiplayer narrative in mind. You just don't see that too much. And when done right, you can make really cool games. And so hopefully it's not one of those just 2 running and gunning. I'd like to see some elements of really needing each other through the storyline.
Yeah. So that all looks very exciting. And then we got into another new IP, which is always what I want to see at these shows. So a couple of the developers from Arcane Studios came out, and I was like, this is whatever this is, I'm buying. I don't even care. You can say whatever you want right now, and I will buy it. Arcane, in my book, can do no wrong. Dishonored 2, and Dishonored Death of the Outsider are all perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Prey is amazing. So when Arcane came out, I think we talked about it in our, like, what are we expecting, or what do we want to see but would never happen. I talked about, like, a Prey sequel. I'm like, I know it's not going to happen, but I would lose my shit. So I was kind of sitting here, I'm like, are they going to talk about Dishonored? Are they going to talk about Prey? What's going on? What's going on? Why are they here? What's happening? So I got real hype, and then they're like, they said something, and they're like, it's like nothing we've ever done before. And I was like, oh, shit, never mind. So they showed a cinematic for a game called Deathloop that I'm buying. I would buy it this very second.
How? Well, I couldn't even tell what this thing was about. There's another one of those fully cinematic, no gameplay. I left with way more questions than I had answers. What makes this a day one buy?
So as far as a cinematic, the story it tells is something looks good. So Deathloop is you're essentially stuck in a time loop, and Deathloop revolves around two characters. And there's a way that I'm hoping it plays out. So it revolves on two characters, and basically the basic premise is that one character is desperately trying to break the time loop, and the other character is desperately trying to preserve it. And the only way for each of them to complete their goal is to kill the other. So, because they're each actively working against each other, obviously. So, it's about two assassins. So, you already have that gameplay style of, like, you're just going to have high violence, high octane gameplay, it looks like. It looks very arcane in the playstyle because they show off some powers with the female character. She, like, I can't remember if she, like, shot lightning out of her hands or something, and at one point she, like, does some anti-gravity, like, wall running and things like that. So you definitely have some powers, which you see both in Prey and in Dishonored. So knowing, like, this looks like a really interesting story that I'm into, and I know the gameplay is going to be amazing because I played your other games, and I would put money that this is going to be great. Like, okay. I trust this studio.
That's kind of cool then, when you can kind of see elements from the other two games coming together in this new one, because you know it that the same reason I'm excited for the Outer Worlds. Like, I just know what that development company is worth, what they can produce, and so the fact that they're throwing it on a different IP is just money in the bank.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Curtis, did this look interesting to you at all as being a not Xbox exclusive?
I missed the whole Bethesda thing. I mainly only watched the Xbox one.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
So after Deathloop, they announced Orion, and they put Orion up on the board, and everybody cheered. I'm like, you fuckers don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
You just saw the word Orion. You don't know what it is.
Yeah. It was interesting
when that applause sign came up.
Yes. They did the Jeb Bush, please clap.
Well, you know what? It's spacey looking, and everyone was kind of hoping to see more of their new space game. So maybe they were thinking like, oh, Orion, maybe that's something else. It's in the galaxy, and no.
It's a constellation. It has to do with stars. We're gonna talk about Starfield.
Exactly. I would have.
But we're not.
If I was drunk in that audience, I would have thought the same thing.
So they announced Orion as being a group of a group of patented technologies that optimize game engines for performance in cloud environments.
So, in a nutshell, it's like a developer tool, really. It's something. Yes. It's not on the user front. This is stuff basically that is going to make our experience down the road. But there were more. This part of the stage show was for the developers out there who may want to think about the future of gaming. Yeah.
So they did throw some stuff in for the user. So they talked about there being, I can't remember what they were talking about exactly. They're talking about basically low latency. Yeah. They're talking about whatever they're using means 20% less latency per frame, which is a thing. They talked about how this is going to be a lot cheaper for users because it uses 40% less bandwidth. Although I don't know that they said 40% less than what?
Yeah. No, it was a little
so like
vague.
40% less of an unspecified amount, but the idea being that like what they actually said was that you will still be able to stream your games at max settings and not max out your bandwidth.
Yeah, so it's addressing kind of a lot of the stuff we've been talking about on the show with the Stadia episode of how much data this stuff's going to consume and how many frames are we really going to get. And basically, Bethesda is saying that, listen, we've innovated video games since the beginning. We made the first-person shooter, and they listed all their accolades. And they're saying that this is their next contribution to gaming as a whole, and that through developers who go through Orion, it's going to be making that experience that we've all been really concerned about in cloud gaming. Because they went out and straight up said, hey, whether it's Stadia or Xcloud, this is what you're basically going to be using if you want to, have a good time.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess good for them getting in on that. And then they ended it by saying that like they brought somebody out that was playing Doom, the 2016 Doom game, on their streaming service, and they said something about I didn't catch the specifics, so I have to look into it again. But basically, they said that you will be able to stream Doom 2016 for free by joining SlayersClub.com.
Yes, and then the website.
And then SlayersClub.com immediately crashed.
Yeah,
it was down absolutely immediately.
Yeah.
But it is back up now if you would like to go check it out.
Yeah, I'm enrolled, and they showed someone with the controller with the phone attached to it, and it wasn't like live on stage. That could have been pre-recorded, but it looked pretty fresh. He was playing the brand new Doom game on a mobile phone, and I want to see it. I got to see it to believe it.
I'm about it. So, like, that would be fun. I'd put that on my iPad.
Yeah.
And then we moved into the moneymaker of the night.
Here we go.
Doom Eternal.
So, are you really excited, or are you ironically excited?
No, I'm so goddamn excited.
Really?
I am so excited for this game. I've been waiting for this for so long.
How come you're not playing it right now?
Doom Eternal? Because you can't.
Oh.
It's not out. It comes out November 22nd.
Oh.
It's like you weren't even watching.
No, I mean, I was, but this is another one that's been like, we saw so much of it last year. This game should be out right now. If any time they were
We didn't see like anything from Doom. We saw a teeny tiny bit of Doom Eternal. We saw that it exists. We didn't see any gameplay, but really we saw a title. That was what we got last year.
Was it just a title? I don't know. The Doom games run together for me. I thought we'd seen like in the cinematic they went to like gameplay.
No, nothing. Yeah, nothing concrete or nothing at least like substantial like we got this time.
Okay.
So we got a good amount of gameplay out of this, which I was very excited about. I always love Doom games. I always love, just everything. If you want, sometimes you just want like a good shoot 'em up murder fest, bloody graphic violence, really good graphics. Like it's just a fun game. It's just a fun time. And Doom knows what it is. It does not take itself, seriously as like, a really deep narrative story. It knows what it is and it does it well.
Yeah.
So all of the guns, somebody in my chat commented that the guns in this game look closer to classic Doom than maybe they did in Doom 2016, which is, good as far as aesthetics go.
Mm-hmm.
The combat looks like Doom, like it just looks like Doom. It's very exciting. This one's going to take you to heaven and hell and multiple different dimensions, and of course you're back on Mars. It's just good. It's just good.
Did we get any features like with multiplayer or anything like that?
Yes! So they announced something called Battle Mode. I got real worried. I was like, did y'all just say Battle Royale? And they did not. They said Battle Mode. So Battle Mode is a PvP mode in Doom Eternal, which is 2v1. So it's 2 player-controlled demons versus 1 fully kitted out Demon Slayer.
Interesting.
And it looks good. Like there's different classes of demons, just as there are in the game, that you can pick from that all have different movements and different ability styles. And it just like this looks really, really fun. Like I will play the shit out of this. I guess Doom 2016 actually did have a PvP mode, but it's so not part of the game that I didn't even know it was really there.
Yeah, I remember playing that one. It was basically just like your standard deathmatch type things. And I remember the graphics quality took a major hit. Like it actually felt like you were playing 2 different games.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, was not a standout, but the 2016 like Doom game is phenomenal. I would recommend playing it. It's a ton of fun. It's really great. If you're squeamish maybe about the blood and the guts, it's probably not for you. But if you're into that, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Doom is just a good game.
So we are getting this one this year.
Yes, November 22nd. I'm so excited.
There we go. That's cool. Unless you get in on the Slay Club, right? Because then you get to stream.
No, that was for Doom 2016.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was for the last one. And that was how we ended the show.
Much more underwhelming than Microsoft was. The Bethesda one was pretty big disappointment.
I was really excited to see Deathloop and Doom Eternal. Like, I was like, cool, that's really all I needed from this conference. Because I wasn't going to care about Elder Scrolls. I wasn't going to care about Fallout. That was good for me.
Yeah, I think just the main, just on principle alone of not seeing anything new from Elder Scrolls or Star Citizen,
Starfield?
Star Wars, Starfield. Yeah. No, just that principle alone. It's weak ass show.
Curtis?
Curtis didn't watch it.
I didn't even watch the Bethesda one.
Right.
Yep.
Did either of you guys watch the Devolver Digital?
No.
Man.
I didn't watch Devolver.
So, you're not going to care about any of the games, but that is worth a watch. Devolver's fucking wild.
Devolver, they don't even really have an E3 presence. They usually just rent a parking lot a couple blocks from E3 and throw the biggest fucking cool party you can imagine.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so they have like food trucks and all sorts of dope shit. Actually, that's where you can go play all the games. You get like you go into these big old air conditioned buses and start playing games. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, so like regardless of the games they talk about, and they do talk about some that look really cool. It is worth watching just because the actual, I wouldn't even call it a press conference. The video package itself is fucking weird as shit. So give that a watch if you got time. And then if you can, watch the previous years because they all connect. They're all an interconnected stories, like the last 3 years of Devolver Digital showcases.
So what's next? So we covered these ones. Devolver Digital, I think we get PC Gaming Show tomorrow.
PC Gaming Show is at 10 a.m. tomorrow. 1 p.m. is Ubisoft, and 6 o'clock is Square Enix, where we're going to see the Avengers game.
That's, I think, the biggest question mark for me now. Everything else kind of is out of the way that I was really excited for. I think that's going to be the big one there, is what are they going to show us for that Avengers game? What are you looking most forward to, Curtis?
For the Avengers game?
I mean, no, just at the rest of the E3 shows. We got Nintendo still to go.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct is on Tuesday.
That's probably the only thing I'm only kind of curious about because I want to see, what they reveal as the next DLC for the Fighters Pass for Super Smash Bros.
They confirmed that. They confirmed that it will be announced. So they did an announcement of an announcement.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sakurai.
They announced that they're going to announce something?
Yeah, they made an announcement that we will get the Smash announcement everyone's hoping to get.
Yeah, that's what they did at their last Nintendo Direct that had to do with Smash Brothers. And we promise that when the patch comes out, we'll tell you more about the patch. Okay, thanks.
Who do you think it's going to be? Here's your money on.
Man, everybody keeps throwing out all sorts of different things. Banjo-Kazooie, you still got the people that think Goku is going to get into it. I'll be honest. I really don't know. I have no clue. And the other thing that the only person that I want is what everybody's been wanting for a long time, which is Waluigi. But
really, that's who you want, huh?
Wow.
Yeah. It just makes sense. Wario's been in there for a few games now, so might as well put Waluigi in there as well. And Luigi is a tricky character, and if you know how to play, there's some Luigi tech that can kind of break the game. So yeah, Waluigi is all I'm really looking forward to. So that's it. That's really it for me.
Dang, I want. I hope it's one of the bigs. I want Crash, Banjo, or even Spyro or something. Like let's get one of those other legends of that time.
Does Nintendo have access to those IPs?
That's the thing about Smash Bros. They got Solid Snake in there. Like they got access to a bunch of
freaking
Ryu, Sonic the Hedgehog. Like they throw in
random stuff. Well, but Sakurai did say that the next character that's coming out will not be one that was like a big, normal, well-known Nintendo character. It is going to be something outside of the box.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The last one they pulled was Joker from
Persona.
From Persona. Yeah. So anything's on the table. I think it's going to be going to be one of the big reveals that we'll definitely be keeping an eye on.
Yep.
Emma,
well, that's that then.
I think we wrap this one up. Thank you so much for taking us through the journey. It's E3 time, most exciting time to be a gamer. We'll be keeping these updates as we can get ourselves together. This will be coming out on Monday the 10th, so if you are in Sacramento, tonight is our trivia night that we're going to be doing for Pokemon at Oblivion Comics and Coffee. You can check it out on social media for details. But for Curtis Fisher, Emmaskies, my name is Cory, saying you've just been E3 banged. And we can end now.
All right.